Assalamu alaikum. This is Mike Ghouse with the World Muslim Congress. We're preparing short videos, educational videos about different issues in Islam. Today we're going to talk about slavery. And to talk about that, we have our expert in Sharia and the other laws of Islam, Mr. Hasan Mahmud.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Slavery is a human legacy. It was always there. It was there in Arabia when Islam came, and it was a challenge of the Quran in the beginning. Now, a century-old tradition, be it evil, it has strengthened it. Quran knew it well. The Quran eliminated slavery in phases. First of all, it allowed people to do what was being done. You slept with the You are sleeping with the slave girls, go ahead. Surah Muminun, verse 5 and 6.
So they didn't turn the society upside down in 1 minute.
Of course. This type of revolution is very harmful for the society. So the Quran allowed whatever was prevailing, but slowly modified it by certain tools. Like, you feed the slave what you eat. That's not good, easy for a master. You gave them good accommodation. Do not overload them with work. Then slaves' witness was allowed. Then people were encouraged to marry slave girls, to educate slave girls. By this way, the Quran first established a human status, not equally yet, a human status of the slaves. And then we get slaves like Imam Bilal. I mean, Prophet gave him so much of higher status. He was the first Muslim. Ultimately, when people were ready, the Quran axed the root of slavery. How? I'll tell you a little later. But before that, I want to remind you that when we say that Islam eliminated slavery, we get the robust resistance from the Muslim scholars themselves. Maududi allowed slavery. He also propagated, legitimized rape of captive women in his Tafhimul Quran, in the explanation of chapter 4, verse 24, that the ruler can distribute the captive women to the soldiers, and soldiers can do this to them, do that to them as slaves. And the chief educationist of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Fawzan, that man says, his book is being taught in all the Middle Eastern Saudi schools, all the madrasas around the world, created by Saudi money. And that man says that slavery is a part and parcel of Islam. Whoever denies it knows nothing about Islam. So, where do you go with these type of scholars? Let us come down to Quran, how it axed their root. What was the source of slavery anyway? It was all tribes and tribes and tribes. No tribe enslaves its own members, right? So the source of slavery was captives, war captives. When the society was ready, at the end, I'm being very brief. It's a long discussion. There are lots of documents involved, but I'm just giving the skeleton. At the end, the Quran declared in chapter 47, Surah Muhammad, verse 4, you fight them, enslave them, and release them with ransom or without.
Meaning, he made it freedom so important that if you have to pay his ransom, pay it, but free them.
Yes.
Or voluntarily do it, either way.
Yes. But
so there is a whole range of option to get out of slavery.
Yes. So this is the final point. Before reaching this final state, we see a desperate Quran supporting freedom of slaves. And Quran instructed Muslims that free the slaves if there is a solar eclipse, if there is a lunar eclipse. If you broke your promise, free the slaves. If you broke your fast, free the slaves. What lunar solar eclipse had to do with slavery? So free them for reasons, for excuses. So we see in the Quranic tafsir from Saudi Arabia, we see that 3 Sahabis released 29,000 slaves. They were so much encouraged to release slaves. Now slavery couldn't be eliminated one day. You know why? Because the whole economy was based on free labor of slaves. If you uproot it outright, the whole economy would collapse. And where the thousands and thousands of slaves would go, what they would do. So the process of evolution was really good, better than process of evolution. It doesn't shake the society. Ultimately, the Quran eliminated slavery by that verse. But it is so sad to see that Muslims re-established slavery by different means, with different Sharia laws. How? That even a slave's prayer wouldn't be accepted, as if someone discussed with God.
And this is in the Sharia book.
This is Sharia law, that if he runs away from his master, his prayer will not be accepted. Number 2, the children of a slave girl would be slave again. Number 3, the investment on slavery.
And this is propagated by Maududi?
This is propagated by Maududi, definitely propagated Sharia law. These are Sharia laws. I mean, the investment on slavery, financial investment, is exempt from Islamic tax. So, I mean, how can you eliminate slavery with these laws?
So the distinction here, Hasan, is it is really not Islamic.
No, it's against Islam.
Okay, that's what I want to come up with.
Yes. Islam's notion is abd, means slave. Abd who? Abd Allah, Abdullah. That is why the name Ghulam Mustafa, Mustafa's slave, is not allowed in Islam. Bande Ali is not allowed in Islam. These are anti-Islamic names.
Because you cannot be slave to any other human other than God.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.